Okay, guys, welcome to Dave's LFC Chat. There's a very special guest. He's back on. He couldn't stay away. It's Ross from the Redmen TV. Ross, how are you?
I'm good, thanks, mate. How are you?
Well, as we just were talking a few minutes ago, it's crazy times at the moment. I'm actually okay. I mean, your health, your wealth. I mean, that's the main thing. There's a lot of people worse off. Your health is your wealth, and your mental health is actually your wealth. And we'll talk a bit about that as well. But we'll just get into the Reds. The other night was a very, very timely result. The RB Leipzig game I'm talking about, the 2-0, two-way goals in Europe is huge. The clean sheet, particularly I thought Alisson was brilliant. He didn't get enough of talking about how good I thought Alisson was brilliant in that game. He really, one or two really good saves after having one or two bad games and one or two bad highlighted mistakes. But that was a huge game, Ross, for our confidence, wasn't it?
Yeah, not just for the players, but for fans as well. It was nice to go to bed with a smile on my face for a change.
True.
For a while. But to be honest, Dave, I think that result's been coming for a few games. Large parts of Manchester City thought we were very good. Obviously, there was individual errors in that one, which we won't talk about. Leicester City, again, for 70 minutes, I thought we were very good. So in my opinion, that result has been coming. We just needed that performance for a full 90 minutes, not for 70, 75. I agree. I thought Alisson was good against Leicester. Until he clattered Kabak. I thought, he made some good big saves in there, particularly one from Jamie Vardy. But the only thing, his distribution against Leipzig wasn't great. But like you said, 2-0 away win, going to the Derby, huge win. I just want it to be a platform to build on, not a false dawn like West Ham or Spurs or Crystal Palace. Put a run of games together where I can be happy, not 3 days. I want 3 weeks of happiness of Liverpool results.
No, I was just about to say, it's no use beating Leipzig 2-0 away and having 1 foot basically in the quarterfinals, even though there's a bit of work to still do. They're a good side, Leipzig. And then going into the Derby against Everton. We're beaten 3-1 by City last night, but that was City. And they actually played okay, Everton. And then drawing or losing to Everton. And nearly wipes that result away. We've got to go on a 3-4-5 match winning run to say that we've turned the corner, because we did it against West Ham, we did it against Spurs. I thought we turned the corner, but as you said, it was stewing away in the background. Even the United loss in the cup, the 3-2. We were okay in parts of that game. It just wasn't the whole package. It wasn't the whole performance. There was individual performances, but I think that's why this weekend is huge. They shouldn't need to be raised up for a derby, though. I mean, it should be okay for that, shouldn't they?
No motivation needed. Particularly with the result of the last one, and the VAR decision. The injuries is an interesting one, or the fouls, because I think as fans we go that should G us up. That should put Liverpool, revenge almost. But I don't think it'll be as aggressive as we think it'll be. Liverpool have got to remain professional. They can't go in thinking, you injured Van Dijk, you injured Thiago.
Yeah.
We're going to go and injure.
Revenge.
That's what we want as fans. But I just don't. I think as players they've got to have their heads screwed on, and we should be able to beat them. And the thing with Everton is, I watched most of the Man City game last night, and Everton were all right. They put in a good performance.
They looked very good going forward. Actually, they looked dangerous, didn't they?
Yeah, they raised their game against Man City, Liverpool, Manchester United, and you see at the weekend they struggle against Fulham because they can't they never basically turn up against Fulham, and Fulham were very good.
Similar to us, actually. Similar to us.
Pretty much. So it'd be interesting. But like we both said, I want nothing less than 3 points on Saturday.
Yeah, our revenge on Saturday would be 3 points. That's the revenge.
Yeah, exactly.
And
be the bigger man. Be the bigger man. We don't need to be aggressive. We don't need to kick those legs off. 3 points, job done. Yeah,
that's it. I mean, we could all go back to the game in October when Van Dijk, of course, was assaulted on the pitch by Pickford, and then the Thiago incident with Carlson getting sent off, and the disallowed goal in injury time, and it all seems to stem back today. You could say that was the genesis of the. You could easily, even though we went on an okay run and we were okay up to Christmas, we were top at Christmas, remember, but that's when we lost Van Dijk, and to be fair, I think that's been huge for us. Jota as well, and we'll get on to Jota now in a minute. He's huge. But I think Everton will probably be looking at it as well, saying, Jesus, we haven't beaten them since 2004, I think it was, at Anfield. Surely we've got a chance. So it'll be a sort of a double whammy thing in their mind, saying, we have a chance to beat them here. I don't know if Calvert-Lewin, I know he has a bit of an injury, whether he can play or not. I think that would be a big call for Everton.
Yeah, it'd be interesting for Liverpool. A big call for Liverpool as well, particularly if Kabak plays again, what can he do against Calvert-Lewin? I I probably think Everton will play him. You know, he seems to lack a bit of something up top. I think we played with Richarlison down the middle against Manchester City. Yeah. And, you know, he provided the threat. But you know, Calvert-Lewin's form, you know, and for his age and experience, I think he's dangerous for anybody. Particularly, you know, like you said, he hasn't beaten Liverpool for ages. Now's a good time. Now's a good time theoretically to play Liverpool and to beat them. So you've got to go with your best squad, whether he's fit or not. Is another thing, and the other one is James Rodriguez as well. You know, apparently he's either injured and he's not really happy with life in England at the moment. So if he plays, but you know, if he plays and he turns up, you know, what is the threat?
No, listen, it's going to be a difficult game, Ross. No matter who plays, it's a derby. Yeah. As you say, form probably goes out the window. Although form,
that's a good thing for us at the minute.
What?
I'll take that. It's form out the window is a good thing for us.
Yeah, well, that's true. But listen, it's a derby game, as you say. We'll raise our game. I think we'll be okay. We'll be okay on Saturday. It's a 5:30 kickoff as well. It'll be sort of semi under the lights sort of thing. I like those games as well. Do you? But Anfield, yeah, I think like Anfield.
When fans are in there, Dave, yeah? I like them when fans are in there.
I was just about to say that. When Anfield is empty, which it's been, that has to have... I've done millions... I did a video with Gareth Roberts from the Anfield Rap last week, 2 weeks ago, and I was explaining to him, and he was saying the same thing. Without Anfield being full, without the 12th man, the Anfield roar, whatever you want to call it, the atmosphere, the energy that the crowd gives Liverpool, I think that's been huge on Liverpool's form as well, especially at home.
Yeah, I think it's the same for most clubs, but you know, particularly with Liverpool, you can just see that we're missing. We still haven't had that moment to say thank you or appreciate them winning the league. You know, we've not had that release, that outpouring emotion. So,
Will we ever?
Possibly not. We've not had the parade, but even things like an aggressive tackle, and I don't mean a foul. I mean, like, you know, like someone just going in for a slidey and getting the ball. That G's up the crowd. Huge. Those moments in turn, and so they're looking around. You know, for some clubs, I think it benefits. Like Tottenham, for example, they can play terrible football and they don't have the crowd on the back. You know, Mourinho can kind of do what he wants. He's not getting the results at the minute. But you're right for Liverpool, and like Gareth said, that 12th man, that roar, that, you know, you'll never walk alone at the beginning. That appreciation, you know, we bounce off each other, and that's what that's, you know, it's gone hand in hand and brought success collectively. Obviously, the players have done most of the running. I'm not going to take credit for that and scoring the goals and stuff, but you know, it's those moments and that bond that we have with them is you know, is brilliant.
Yeah, I think, I mean, every club obviously loves their fans. They love the post-match, the pre-match, during the match, you know. Everybody, of course, they feed off the crowd. But I just think Liverpool, certain clubs feed off it more than others. And I think Liverpool is one of them. So I think that's a huge, huge loss. Klopp said it himself, of course. But this weekend, Kabak at the back. I think Fabinho's touch and go to play. Would you think Fabinho, if he plays, could come in with Kabak and have Hendo in midfield? That'd be nice now, wouldn't it?
It would be nice. The only concern I'd have with that is yet another centre back partnership in Fabinho and Kabak. So
Fabinho midfield maybe.
Well, that's the other route that I kind of go down. Have him there, give a bit of protection. I don't think you necessarily need it as much against Everton, but certain games, you know, let him protect Henderson and Kabak a little bit. The fullbacks can go forward. Then you've got Fabinho, Hendo, Kabak can drop deep while the fullbacks go forward. I think, you know, if anything's going to happen, maybe it will be Fabinho and Kabak at the back. But, you know, just me being like paranoid and going, we've already had 16 different partnerships at the back already.
Yeah.
Do you kind of need another one? But the long-term goal is to get Henderson back into midfield. That provides, you know, your intensity, your energy. You can dictate from midfield. I think everyone kind of would prefer him at the back. So, you know, for a change, it's a nice problem to have. Who would you rather have in your centre back with Henderson or Fabinho? That kind of shows where we're at, doesn't it? Or maybe Davies Kabak. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. Davies hasn't been even thought about, to be fair. But Kabak's look good. He's only 21 next month, I think, in March, and he looks a real. Well, it's early yet, but I know we've been looking at him for over a year now. Liverpool have been looking at him for a while, and they've wanted him. And I think if he does anything, he doesn't do anything majorly bad, I think we'll sign him in the summer, because I think we can get him for something like 18 million, which is a good steal for a young centre half international, isn't it?
Yeah,
I think we'll do the deal.
In the summer we were quoted double that almost. I think it was 40 million.
Wasn't it? Yeah.
So the good thing about that deal, Dave, is it's like a trial. So if he doesn't work out, we'll just send him back to Schalke. There's no obligation to go and buy him. Do
you know what that deal reminds me of? And I work in the car business. It's like getting a car, right? It's like buying a car that you've always fancied, taking it out for a test drive, and I'm saying to you, you can hold on to it till the summer. If you like it, you can buy it. If you don't like it, You can
I'll
send
come
that
and
back
see
to the
for a car,
dealership, you know?
Yeah. Cabback on finance, that's what it is. I hope he does well. We need that partnership at the back is major. And if you look back at us, for example, or any team that's won the Premier League, at the back they've had a stable, lengthy partnership. Two centre backs and a goalkeeper that have been the stalwarts of
the core, the spine,
exactly, and we've just not had that. And Van Dijk going off injured is was a massive blow. But when we lose Joel Matip and Gomez on top of that, then you lose your midfield because you use midfield in defence. It's just been a mess.
I think Jota's been huge. He was on an unbelievable run. He gave the front three something to worry about because, I mean, he could have started for any one of them. The way he played, even coming off the bench, you were saying, this guy's going to score with 20 minutes to go. In some of them draws, we got the Newcastle, the West Brom, the Brighton game where we lost, the Burnley game. If he was there coming off the bench last 20, he was going to get a chance or two, could have turned the tide. So I think he's back in 2 or 3 weeks, so he'd be huge for us.
Yeah, even starting games or in terms of rotation, you can give the one of the front three a rest. Particularly previously, we're out of both cup competitions now. So when you play 3 games a week, you're not saying to Salah you've got to go 3 times, or Mo or Mane or Firmino. I need you to play because there's no one else. So it's Jota's a massive miss, but it's almost a criticism of either our squad depth or what we haven't done. Jota was brought in to add that squad depth. It's unfortunate that he's been injured as well, but you think, can Shaqiri do what Jota does? His form's been very good, and he's probably been in his best form at Liverpool in the past couple of weeks, and actually stayed fit for a change. But David Carey, can he come on? That's what they're supposed to do, that job as well. But they just haven't been good enough or reached those heights that we've been able to kind of bring them on. Or Taki Minamino, I feel really sorry for him because it hasn't worked out. Going to Southampton, build up his confidence. He was kind of brought in to do that job as well. Just circumstances haven't allowed us. So as soon as Jota comes back, you're right. I think he's massive in terms of being able to rest the front three, rotation. Salah plays 70 minutes or Mane plays 70 minutes, runs someone ragged, and then you go, I'm bringing Jota on.
Yeah.
You're right. You're thinking, some more goals, change the game, provide something different.
Huge. I mean, even if he's back maybe for the second leg on the bench for the Leipzig game, he don't play for 2 weeks. There's a possibility there, I know. But we shall see. But just before we go, the weekend, I think Liverpool will beat Everton the weekend. It'll be a tight game, maybe a 1-0 or a 2-1, but I think we'll beat them.
I hope so, Dave. That's what I did the weekend. It's just
you hate predictions.
Yeah. Well, past couple, I can see something changing. As we said before, that use that Leipzig game as a momentum. As something to give you kind of confidence boost. And I think Klopp came out afterwards after Leipzig games like we needed that. I think people thought we were going to slip up and kind of mess up. So, but if you look at Salah, his numbers and his stats, he's the top scorer in the Premier League this season. I think it's 24 goals in all competitions. I think he's got
17 league, is it?
Yeah, I think so.
It's gone under the radar a bit, hasn't it? I think.
Well, because we've been shit in the league. That's why the results haven't gone our way. So even at that, when you start to put a Jordan Henderson back in midfield and you're not relying on James Milner, love him to bits, but that's what we got to do.
He's done brilliant.
Yeah, but 3 games in 10 days that he played. He's 35 years old.
He can't do it.
Curtis Jones, 19, 20, just turned 20 last week or the week before, playing 3 games. That shouldn't be the midfield you're relying on. Curtis Jones is amazing, but for Liverpool to build and chase for titles and top 4 and stuff, we need Henderson, Gini, Thiago, or
Fab.
Fabinho, one of the more senior players in there, and then you can say to Curtis Jones, you come play 45 minutes, you come play now for this game, not you're playing 3 times a week. It's just too much for them.
I'll tell you, Curtis Jones, before we go, he's been unbelievable. I'd say because of all the injuries and the craziness, just everything that's happened in the last year, I'd say he's at least a year ahead of himself, probably even 2 years ahead of himself, where he is starting for Liverpool. You know what I mean? I don't think...
Even last season, or maybe it's the season before, it all feels like one now, is the fact that the cup games against Everton and stuff like that, that's what you're supposed to develop these players, like you did with Trent, and say, you can play this game and you can play with the first team, kind of wean them into the first team and let them progress naturally. Whereas you're right, because of circumstances and injuries, you have to play Leipzig away, mate, because there is no one else. And that's kind of where Reece Williams and Nico Williams fell down a little bit, because they were fast-tracked as well. We haven't got any defenders. So Reece Williams, if all gone well, might have played the odd cup game, might have played 10 minutes in the league or 15 minutes in the league here and there. But it just got to the point, and that Phillips as well, where we don't have any bodies. We're going to have to rely on you. And it wasn't fair on them. It wasn't fair to judge them then. And now we've got Kabak and Davies in. We've seen them kind of fall back a bit, which is probably right, because you're just going to ruin the career and ruin the confidence if you've got to play a 19-year-old. So, Curtis Jones has been fantastic.
It's been unbelievable. Curtis Jones has been unbelievable. He's been actually a bright light on a dark, well, I wouldn't say a dark season. It's not over yet. I think the main thing for Liverpool is to get into the top 4. If we can even finish 4th, even 4th you take now. Just get into the top 4 and a good run in the Champions League. We're not in the quarters yet, but we have a very good chance. And to be honest, once you get into the quarters in Champions League, Ross, anything's possible.
Yeah, we've seen that before. Even when you 3-0 down.
The results last night, even the results.
Yeah,
crazy.
I think we're the only team that kept a clean sheet.
We were,
in this
I think you're right.
So yeah, and to add to that, you start getting bodies back as well. We're seeing that this week. You mentioned Fabinho, Naby Keita was in training last. Yeah, he was in training last week. Chamberlain's starting to kind of step up a little bit. So once you start getting those bodies back, you can pick and choose your players. Now you mentioned the low block sides before, and we discussed this week as well. You've got a low block side. That's where I think we've missed Naby Keita. Yeah, kind of doing the same thing. Whereas he's got someone who's a bit like Thiago. He's got that pass in him, but also he's confident in his ability to step past someone or 2-3 players, then play the pass. So when you start getting different types of midfielders back, you've got options of what we can do as well.
What's your take on Thiago? Well, what do you think, Thiago? Like, I can't judge Thiago until we've a proper 11 out there, let's say, and he's playing where he's meant. I think where we bought him to be playing in behind the front 3 rather than in front of the back 4. Where he's passing, he's playing sideways and stuff. Whereas if he's up playing balls through and stuff and being a bit more creative. Well, what do you think of Thiago? You think it's been good? Yeah. It's mixed?
I think he's been put in a position like a lot of players have been asked to do a job that they weren't brought in to do. I think you hit the nail on the head there. So, there's 2 games where it's 45 minutes against Everton.
Chelsea.
Chelsea. 45 minutes against Chelsea.
Came on at half time, didn't he? Against Chelsea.
Yeah, so both those games in a full 11, like you just said, he got man of the match for both. Yeah. That's what he was brought in to do because he was able to go forward and go between the midfield and the attack with Henderson and Fabinho behind him. And a proper back 4 and a goalkeeper. Yeah,
that's true.
So
that's
whereas now I think he's playing a deeper role, which he's not used to kind of doing, which is why he's making rash tackles that he doesn't need to be doing.
Yeah. Did you go off there? Did you?
You went off.
I went off. No, that's okay. Someone was trying to ring me. Don't worry about it. I can edit it out. But so the main thing is the weekend, Ross. Just continue on. Get the win. Get the 3 points. I think that's the most important thing for Liverpool, just that we can get the win under our belts. It's a derby, I know, but the 3 points are huge for Liverpool. Yeah,
3 points are huge. It's massive pressure on the likes of Leicester, Everton as well, who are kind of in and around that Chelsea. There's other teams putting pressure on us right now. And particularly, I think we've got Sheffield United and Fulham in the 2 games after that, which, so, games that you think that we should be. But we
but still, I think when you've turned the corner, and you might have the likes of Jota, you might have the likes of Fabinho, Keita back, confidence as well. That's different. Confidence breeds confidence.
Yeah, and then that's when you can build a run on those games, can't you? And that's what Liverpool need. So don't get up for the big games. Just get those low block sides, get some confidence, get some goals, get up the league table, and then, like you said, a top 4 in Champions League. If I'd said to you at the beginning of the season we're going to lose Van Dijk, Matip, Gomez, and then in spells Henderson, Jota, Alisson, everybody else, and we're going to get top 4 and a good run in the Champions League. I think it doesn't seem very ambitious now because we've just won loads in the past 2 seasons. But you take it, I think, wouldn't you?
I take it. I would have took it at Christmas Eve. No, I would have took it because I'm just a realist. You know what I mean?
Gigs, yeah.
And you look at City and what they've got. I mean, City could possibly. I think they'll do the domestic treble. To be honest, again, I think they will. I think they'll win the League Cup. I think they play Spurs, is it, next week or in 2 weeks? They'll beat Spurs and they'll win the league, I think, now with 10 points clear. I can't see anyone catching them. And who else have they got in the FA Cup? I just can't see anyone. Whether they win the Champions League, which is the one they want. Imagine we knocked it out in the quarters. Oh, my God. That would be revenge, baby.
I'll take that.
Anyway, Ross, that's been brilliant. Thank you very much for coming on once again.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Good luck to Redmen TV, of course, going forward. You guys are absolutely brilliant. I'll have the link down below for Redmen TV. Say hello to Chris and Paul. Stay safe, and I'll talk to you soon.
See you, mate.
Cheers, bro. Bye.